Hello YouTube fans, here again. As you can see, I'm in the shop today, but I need to put them in none of my buttons, I'm not strip naked. And well, as you can hear outside, it's as usual, some peanut peeing it down. But that's not why I've had to speak to yous. I figured that's Halloween, and it is Halloween today. Wishing everybody, and that's everybody, a happy Halloween. And not only am I going to wish everybody a happy Halloween, why not? Let's do a review on one of my favourite horror films from the very early 60s. That being The Bride of Dracula. That's right, The Bride of Dracula. Now, I do remember reviewing this before, but I figured it's Halloween, so what the hell. So, where can I start? After the success of Horrors of Dracula in 1958, they decided that being Hammer House, 2 days later, to do kind of like a sequel. Which you could say this was before he did Dracula, Prince of Darkness. The only issue, and I remember saying this on my last review, is why the hell did they call it The Bride of Dracula? Why did they call it The Bride of Dracula? Number one, Christopher Lee isn't in the film. Dracula isn't in the film. I've not even seen Dracula's bloody bride. Seems to just buggered off into another film. But you do get the luxury of having one of my favourite African actors, Shakespearean actors, one of my favourite actors, that being the legendary Peter Tussin. That's right, Peter Tussin prices his role again as Van Helsing, and what a delight. So it starts off, your typical music, and this one, the only difference with this one is it wasn't done by Warner Brothers, it was done by Universal Pictures back in 1960. So it's started good to see the original logo. It definitely brings memory lanes for anyone who's around in that golden era. And so you've got Van Helsing in it, and you do get this one guy in it, right? And you get a woman, very pretty woman. That's like this unusual accent. I can't think now what accent it is. I don't think it's Poland, but it does sound a bit like Fijian sort of accent. It's like pretty to look at. So she goes to this pub and she needs a place to stay. And you've got this old sort of lady there, and she fights her to the tassel. A bit like Tassel Failure, but it's not a Dracula film, even though it has the name. And that's why I had the issue with the film the first time. I felt it should have just been better just to call it Van Helsing the Vampire Killer. Or, I don't know, fucking, me think, Van Helsing. No, anything but Dracula, because Dracula's not even in the film. So, it's not a big thing. I don't know why I'm making a big thing out of it. Just, he's not in the film. And so she's in the tassel anyway. She sees this guy chained up. Bit weird. She sees him, she feels sorry for him, and he advises to let him off the chain. Big mistake. Because it turns out he's a vampire. That's right, he's a vampire. I do actually like this though. I do actually like Brides of Dracula, because it does have a lot of good horror in it. Because there's a bit in it where they do, right? She has a mate. And they're making toast. And there is some really good horror scenes in it. There's a bit in it where you've got this bat. I know it's a rubber bat, but to be honest, for the error, it flew past that bat flew around my head like the Stars of Dracula did. As long as it doesn't bite me like the Stars of Dracula. So you've got a bat, which it's a vampire. But I love the bit where she's near the mirror and you see the bat on the other side. You don't see a little bit of Fight Night and other sort of vampire elements there, and I've copied that. Because you just see it's near the mirror. I can't show the movie, even though it's now an old film. I still can't see it, copyright and everything. But if I could get away with it, I would show it. Good scene where she's in the mirror, brushing her hair, and the bat's there. You've got this cheapy music. It sounds like, like an ordering type of piano music, more like an ordering. And then you've got the revealment of the vampire stares at her. Your typical thing, the top covers over her, and you got that he bites her neck. So there's some good bits of horror there. Another bit of horror is she's dead to do, right? That reminds me of Horrors of Dracula. But there's a good bit in it, right, where Van Helsing comes up, right? And you've got this weird maid. All the way through the film, you've got a weird maid, and she has this really, really cheapy laugh. Really cheapy laugh. And she's doing that. She's trying to get the vampire woman out, and she comes right out of the town. Looks like something out of a zombie film. And she just stares straight at us, the audience. It's like, bloody hell, that means there is some good on a cheapy sort of moments. It's not stare there. Come on, it's from the days of Hammer House. So, censorship is a lot different compared to the later censorship of Hammer House. But there are some good cheapy bits in it. The bit where, like I say, the vampire girl comes out the drown as he stares at us. The bit where the bat's flying across the mirror, you don't see a perfection, and you see the fulfillment of the vampire. So there are some good bits in the film. So Van Helsing comes along, that's my mate Peter Tussin, to investigate what's going on. You know, he's still a vampire killer, and he's definitely the same character that we saw in The Horrors of Dracula. So that's one thing I do like about this film, being The Brides of Dracula. You do get some vampire women in it, but I don't class them as being the brides of bloody Dracula, I meant to say. You don't get them being the brides of bloody Dracula. So why the hell to call it that? I don't know. You got to die, right, with blonde hair. And he's the main character, but he's not Dracula. There's a bit where he bites his mum, the old woman, turns her into a vampire, which Van Helsing does the right thing and rams a stake in her heart. Again, you don't see it, different era, different time. The censorship was a lot stricter then. But you got the idea that Van Helsing did a mercy killing because she was a vampire and that's what she wanted. He even asked Van Helsing to do the right thing and put her out for misery because he turned her into a vampire. Definitely mother and son love there, eh? The only bit, and I thought was laughable in the film, is that the feeding falls in love. And I thought, that's pity all of a sudden. She falls in love with that pretty boy with the blonde hair. I just call him the pretty boy with the blonde hair. Right? And she says, oh, I'm going to marry him. I'm thinking, you only just met him a few minutes ago. But yeah, I went with it, even though I thought it was a bit sudden. So she's suddenly going to marry this guy with the pretty blonde hair. Van Helsing discovers that he's a vampire. Goes after our main villain. And I love to see where they're having a fight. And the pretty boy gets the better of our mate Peter Tussin, and he sort of knocks him out. It's kind of like what they were going to do in The Horrors of Dracula, but in this it does go that distance. Because in The Horrors of Dracula, you might remember Christopher Lee was about to bite our mate Peter Tussin, but Peter Tussin got the better of him. In this, no, not the case. The pretty boy does bite him, turns our mate Peter Tussin, as Van Helsing, into a vampire. And it's like, oh no moment. But our mate, being Peter Tussin, Van Helsing, and I'm surprised I've never done this in any other vampire film. I'm surprised because I actually love the way he outsmarts the vampire, because what he does, he gets a bit of that soul and he burns where he's just been bit on the neck, and it actually turns our mate, Van Helsing, back into a human being. I thought that was pretty clever. Why have they never ever done that in any other vampire film? But I like it, and I don't like the way the vampire gets killed in this, because what happens is Pretty Boy comes in. It never does explain what happens to the women, you know what I mean? Because you never see them get killed. But they're in this mill, you know, the old type of mills. And pretty graphic for its time of this bit. Do you know what I mean? This bit was pretty graphic, because what happens is Van Helsing falls holy water on the vampire's face, and it's like acid. You know what I mean? It's like acid. You see half his face half burnt. If you can be the type graphic for that era. So he's running. Van Helsing jumps across a mill, puts it so you've got the saddle of a toss. It tosses half full and Pretty Boy to fall down on the floor. Brown bread. Happy ending. The mill's on fire, but Van Helsing gets out of dodge. Happy ending. Happy ending. Until when they do bloody Dracula 72, and we all know Van Helsing's outdoing, but no. Well. But this one, happy ending, and I like it. It's a good one from 1960, that being The Brides of Dracula. Until then, everybody, that's me. Wishing everybody that's yous a happy Halloween.